Hi, everyone. Good afternoon, everybody, or lunchtime, or whatever it is. I am Rebecca from ChemKnits, and today we are going to unravel a homemade blank that I created on my Singer knitting machine. Now, this is not the blank that I showed in the video I released last night when I showed how I was making a sock blank, a double-stranded sock blank from a center pull ball. That is a different one. The one I'm going to use today is a sock blank that I created out of stroll fingering, which is the same yarn that is used in KnitPicks, the sock blanks that KnitPicks sells. And I decided to try to unravel my own double-stranded stroll sock blank that I dyed, so that way we could see how much harder it is to unravel this one than one of the commercial blanks. Because ultimately, I figured if I tried a different yarn at first, we wouldn't know if some of it had to do with the yarn. But I know that the commercial stroll blanks unravel beautifully. So fingers crossed this won't be too much of a twisty mess. Or if it's a twisty mess, it won't be too annoying. So we can hope. Hi, everybody. Pre-lunch, it's 11 where you are? Yeah, it's about noon here. So both of my kids are home from school sick today. Thankfully, it's mostly just a fever. The little one has been sick longer and he tested negative for the flu. So I think it's just like a cold. But we might get interrupted by Lucas. I don't really know for sure. So if that happens, apologies in advance. I think he's in his room reading during rest time versus attempting to go to sleep. So I guess that also means he doesn't feel too horrible. So fingers crossed that they can go to school on Friday. So anyway, you know, my Singer knitting machine. And the other reasons why I chose this blank is this was the first double-stranded, well, at least it was the first double-stranded fingering weight blank. I think this is the first double-stranded blank I ever made on one of my hand crank knitting machines. And I'm going to bring it closer so you can see that it has some errors in it. So one of the benefits of using a double-stranded blank is that once you dye it, whatever pattern you dye, you will end up with two identical skeins, 50-gram skeins of yarn, if you have a 100-gram blank. But when you have errors like stitches that might be longer, you know, because at some points it took some time for me to see what to pay attention to, so that way maybe it didn't skip one strand of yarn versus the other. And then we have this whole section where for whatever reason a bunch of stitches got skipped. So what I don't know is do we have a lot more yardage of one strand than the other in this section? You know, how much will this big mistake throw off the identicalness of our two final skeins of yarn? And because of these errors, that's why I decided to hand paint this blank in, I'll answer that in a sec. That's why I decided to dye this blank in sort of a bit of a striped pattern. So we start with sort of a medium section of stripes where we have, you know, our rainbow colors mixed with black. And then on the other side, you can see the black actually bled through a bit. And so in the ChemKnits Lab group, we've been talking a lot about using thickeners with dye. And I think that this is a case where using thickeners probably would have helped. I'm still getting a feel for using acid dyes. And I was hand painting straight with some 1% stock solutions. Some of the colors I did mix myself though. And so then we went into some longer stripe sections because I think that, especially when we come to this big mistake zone, that should really help tell us how far off we are. And then, I guess this is technically the beginning. We have some bitty stripes that kind of bled in with the black, but I think still look really, really cool. So yes, the dyeing of this blank will be it'll be the Dye Pot Weekly video that is sort of at the near the beginning of the Sock Blank Special Dye Along week. So this video will be coming out the week of February 26th, along with a bunch of sock blank dyeing videos, live streams, and I wanted to make sure to test one of my homemade blanks early on because I know a lot of people are gathering materials to dye along with me, so that way I can best make some recommendations. So yes, this video definitely will be out. Yes, this is the end that I need to start unraveling from. The nice thing about the double-stranded blank and having done this from just one skein is that here at the end I have like the loop of yarn. Not that it's that hard to tell what side to unravel from, but it's just sort of handy. So I am going to go ahead and take my scissors and snip this at the center point to start off our 2 strands of yarn. Now with my homemade blanks, the end ends up being a tiny bit messy. I like to start by raveling some yarn through a bunch of stitches. So I am just going to pull this out like so, and now we have all these live stitches at the top, and so I should be able to start unraveling it pretty well. And so far, you know, you can see that it's matched up like we would expect from a sock blank. The area where I expect we'll have trouble is I think that the 2 strands will be twisted around one another, so it'll be a little hard to separate. So I have here a 2-foot niddy noddy that I just have in sort of an H configuration because I'm going to wrap, and I've done this in some of the other live streams, but I'm going to wrap 1 strand around one side and one around the other to end up with 2 4-foot skeins, approximately. I think they end up being a little bigger than 4-foot skeins, but that should be fine. Oops. And as always, feel free to interrupt me with questions, and I will try to respond. All right. So there's a few ways. With the PVC pipe ones, I like just inserting an end of the yarn into the pipe versus trying to tie a knot. I find that that works a bit easier for me personally. Okay, let's see. Oh, wrong end. So let's see how easy this guy is to unravel. Now I think that it could end up being easier. Uh-oh. I think I'm still here and I still see it. So I think it stopped for a second. Updating chat because, yeah, so if the stream skips, I will update people in the chat with what's going on. So I'm sort of just having my fingers in between the 2 strands like I do with the other blanks and then wrapping it around to keep the 2 strands as separated as possible. And so far so good, but of course I've only unwound like a couple yards. And yeah, I can feel the twist. Maybe, we'll see. We'll see. I am pretty excited. I'm really enjoying using black. That's one of my favorite parts with the Jacquard acid dyes, is getting to use a nice black. Okay, so far this isn't so bad. This is how, although of course maybe I spoke too soon. Yeah, it's a bit twisted, but I'm still able to separate them, so that's good. But you can see that the 2 strands are sort of twisted around each other. So the other thing is that, you know, when it comes to how identical things are, it's more important to look, I guess, at them coming off the blank itself, so you can see the blue and black sort of interchange in there. But because the tension on one side of the niddy-noddy versus the other could be a little bit off. So that's just something that I will try to pay attention to. But if we notice the colors getting really off from one another as I'm winding it around, then that might be a sign that we had some tension differences. So yeah, I'm starting to have a little more trouble, and we're pretty early into this, pulling them apart because of them being twisted together. But I'm not massively annoyed yet, so that's good. I think part of the issue also is that since it's crimped, those are getting a bit tangled. All right. So yes, the commercial ones are definitely easier to unwind than these ones. And it does look like either my tension wrapping this around is really off, or there really is a difference between the tension when I was putting these into the machine. I paid a lot closer attention to the tension of the input in the video that I shared. So, but yeah, I'm really excited for the Soft Blank special. I plan to do a lot of different techniques. Yeah, it looks like one of them might be longer than the other, but I have a feeling that even if these ones don't end up being perfectly identical, I would call them identical-ish. Because you would still be able to get something pretty close. But I sort of, it's funny, one of my favorite yarns that I dyed recently was it was I've enjoyed a lot of the rainbow ones that I've done, but I really liked the hand painting I did that had rainbow with white stripes in between. Or I guess splotches, because it wasn't a soft blank. But so this one I was like, ooh, let's kind of do that, but do it with black. So I'm kind of digging the way that these colors are coming off. You know, it's a little hard to see with the camera, but we are getting some specks. So I'm digging it. I'm curious what the transitions will be like as we start hitting the bigger, and that's the monitor. That's all right. I'm curious what the stripes will look like as we start hitting the thicker sections versus these thin stripes that we're starting with. Okay, so the twists, you know, it's definitely twisted. I can unravel it. I'm having to just, you know, it's a little slower than the other ones. I am still really close to the beginning, but if I push the twist down towards the blank, then I have a little less trouble, and then I have an easier time separating it. It's when the twist really gets worked up towards the top that things start getting harder to separate. But it does look like either I had a tension difference or I just have a lot more yarn on one of the strands than the other when it comes to this blank. So that is something to keep in mind when you're making your own blank. But I think the video that I showed where I was really paying close attention to the intake of the yarn will be a bit more even. But yeah, you can see how it's sort of one is bunching up on the other. So, but it's still not bad for my first double-stranded blank. Okay, let's see. If I wanted to untwist this, what would be the best way to go about that? Must be the right, yeah. Did you make that nitty naughty? Yes, I did make the nitty naughty. There is a video, as I knock the camera, there is a video on the channel about how I did it. I wonder if there's a way for me to twist this that would also untwist the yarn at the same time. That would be too handy, right? But here, let's just show the yarn so far. You see the sort of dark rainbow that we've got going on. It's like a gothic rainbow almost. Yeah, so I made this niddy noddy out of PVC pipe, which unfortunately I think some people in Europe were having trouble finding the pieces. But, all right, we're coming up to this first more striped part. Maybe I can, maybe I'm almost full. Oh, maybe I skipped a one or something, or else the 10th, because this is suddenly getting a lot better, almost. Anyway, yes, the niddy noddy was made out of PVC pipe. There's a tutorial on the channel, and I guess not quite long enough to go over more on one side than the other. Bummer. Okay. I need to think about the best way to untwist this. I guess maybe it would be using this versus the niddy noddy, but I need to make sure I'm untwisting in the correct direction. So I think we want to go this way. Because see, unfortunately, when other things get twisted, you can kind of hold it and let gravity help you. But that's not really going to help me this time. Because it's not going to help me because if I try to do gravity, I will just unravel this right now. And I know that's the goal, but what about putting the blank on the floor? Yeah, so the thing is, if I was going to hold from this, then it would, I mean, I have a weight. Oops. I should be reconnected again. Hopefully it's working now. Yay! Yay, I'm back. Okay, so I have actually this weighted clip that I use with the I-cord maker. So let's see about, let's try clipping it to itself. Okay, can we, wait, which way do I need to go? Come on. There we go. I don't really like having this much weight on the yarn, but yay, I'm glad that you guys all stuck around. So this is slow, but works. So I think that it would be worth, and I'll try this in another video, I think it would be worth attempting to, do the double-stranded blank, but first, yeah, I'm like, it's not even. It would be worth maybe dividing your yarn into 2 50-gram balls before you start, oh goody, purple stripe time. I love purple. Yes, so I think that it would be worth dividing the yarn into 2 50-gram balls and then sort of using those to unravel and winding the 2 separate balls together. And there might be, some loss because they might not have the exact same yardage. But I think that, when you're unwinding the center pole ball, you have some, when you've got your center pole ball and you're unwinding it, the outside edge sort of twists around the inside strand. And so that's one of the reasons why we're getting this twist. Yeah, but so this is I don't know what the brand, but this just came with the I-cord maker that I had. But yes, I think any kind of binder clip would probably have worked too, or a chip clip of some kind. But all right, and so now this is one of the sections. Oh, doggy. Oh, cool. We've evened up a bit when it comes to the strands. I had an overage for a while, but it's evener. And yeah, we're still on pretty good track when it comes for identicalness. I don't know if you can see, there's like a bit of yellow in there. That probably came from somewhere as I was wrapping it up. So I didn't pay super close attention because I meant to, I think I need to redo a striped blank with one of the commercial sock blanks because I thought that it was really, really cool. And I didn't get to unravel the last one I did. And so I really want to unravel one so that way I can see sort of what the transitions look like. And, you know, I did this as a tube versus a flat piece of fabric. So that is something. All right. Excuse me for a minute. I am going to go talk to my dog and I will play a brief commercial break while I'm gone, but I will be right back. Oh, I see the mail truck is here. Okay, he's going bye-bye. It's okay, honey. All right. I know not everyone sees the ads, so when I say I'm going to a commercial break and you don't see one, don't worry too much. But the mail truck was outside, and so, you know, the mailman is Indy's nemesis. So, all right. Of course, while I stopped, I got off a little bit. But have any of you guys done your own double-stranded blanks? All right. I might try this again. Clip it and separate. Probably unwound a bit too much. Oh man, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry that the stream keeps cutting out. That is not good. Okay, we're gonna do our whee. I think if I were to give it a nudge, we'd go a little faster. There we go. Come on. You're not knitting yours up, but you hope to soon. Yeah, I think that the commercial blanks would be, since those unraveled so easily. How long is my nitty knotty? This one is, the piece in the center is 2 feet, so I'll get 4-foot skeins. Normally I have 1 foot around it, because then I do 1 skein kind of up and around. So this will be about the same size as I like to normally do. All right, we are headed into our epic problem area. So for all I've been having some trouble with the yarn being twisted around itself, I have not yet had any trouble actually unraveling the blank. So that is good. And oops, I meant to pay more attention to the striped area. But now that we're going to go into a problemed area, I do want to see if I notice any big color differences coming off of the yarn. And I don't know why, I think my internet must be not doing well. Or else it could be that because I am watching this, because that's where I have the chat up on the same computer where I'm streaming from today. So soft string matches my leggings. Oh, it does do a pretty good job. I'm wearing my like fake knit Christmas stocking leggings. Although clearly, like, the person who designed these didn't really look at fabric, because they're like, ooh, it's like a knit overlay, but they go in different directions, so it's not a really good one. Okay, so right now I'm sort of in the getting into unraveling the mistake area, and so far the strands are matching up, even if one is sort of off in terms of, oh look, they are actually still kind of matching up. There's like a black fleck on both, even as we're in this separation section of like dropped stitches. So maybe they stuck together better than I thought, but I need to keep wrapping it. And I didn't measure, so these stripes aren't regular in size or anything. I didn't really measure it. I just sort of went for it when I was hand painting. And now hopefully we don't end up with a knot. Then I might get really sad. But we just have these twists to contend with. So clearly the homemade ones will take longer to unravel. But I think if you're patient, it shouldn't be so bad. And oh, we're now, okay, let's get this guy. Oh man, what is going on over here? All right, we probably have our first tangled something or other going on. Oh dear. Hopefully we can sort this out. But as I said in the video that I shared, we didn't have like the tangled issue. We'll probably have the tangled issue, but I didn't have any big mistakes like this one. So hopefully that'll be fine. Ooh. I mean, I could have done this not as a live stream, but I thought that it would be worth showing the like realness of my struggles when it comes to unwinding this blank. So I thought that y'all might appreciate that. Okay, let's hold that down and see what is going on. Why am I like, I'm like unraveling. There we go. Okay. Now I'm at a point. It was like unraveling 2 rounds at a time or something. And so that was not good. And we have a totally legit knot in here. Oh, I don't want to have to cut these. Oh dear. This is the problem with the crimps as well. Okay, let's see. Sorry guys. Could you thread the ends of the blank onto a button? Oh, that's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea at all. Maybe I'll try that next time. Okay, I need to see where. Okay, I'm seeing. Ah, okay. All right, let's start up here. Because we're still maybe it's not a knot as much as it's still sort of knit together. Nope. Okay, but look, we're down to just one area that's wonky versus like a lot of area that's wonky. Okay. I'm feeling better. Okay. Come on. Aha! We did it. Okay. But, so a lot of this in this area, the 2 strands, at least as they're coming off of the blank, actually kind of still match up. So, except Okay, here's one spot where it definitely does not. There's like a much bigger blue patch. But overall, that did a lot better than I expected. So I don't really remember exactly what happened in the bad place. Ooh, do any of you guys watch The Good Place? I love that show. But yeah, the wonky shape, they like kind of stuck together a lot better than I expected. Yeah, I really like the idea of using a button, because if I, instead at this junction where I'm wrapping from, trying to keep my hands, if I had a button there, then that would just, I think, help in many, many different ways. But also, well, I guess then I wouldn't be able to untwist from over here, but maybe winding onto, say, like a nitty-knotty or something might be kind of nice. Not a nitty-knotty. I'm using a nitty-knotty onto a swift. Something that I could turn versus like this wrapping around that I'm doing, which worked really, really well for the commercial blanks. But right now, you can see I'm struggling a little more. But this is why before, I wonder if I can add in YouTube, add like another aside to the end of the video being like, hey, you might end up with a twisted mess. But where's, oh, come on. There we go. Oh, okay. You guys, I'm sorry there's so many problems with it today. I should probably, okay, I'm trying to pause. So I'm not seeing what's coming up on the, okay, so I could still see the chat, but I've paused the video because I think that my computer is just not happy. I probably should have restarted the computer before starting the stream. I had been editing a lot of videos, and even though those programs are closed, clearly my computer is still like not, either my internet's not doing great today or my computer is just not at 100%. All right. Hey, we got through that problem area, and I'm going to be really curious as we go to the next change to green to see if things still look pretty even. But, you know, ultimately, oh, I see, my strands are not unraveling together. One is ahead of the other. Okay, now they're together again. I was going to say, I was like, ooh, it looks like, you know, I've caught up or something, but not quite. Not quite. All right. So for me, I might personally, if you're going to be dyeing a lot of sock blanks, well, if you're going to be dyeing and unraveling a lot of sock blanks, then it might be worth sticking with commercially wound ones. So I know that, you know, KnitPicks ones can be a little pricey because those are, but a lot of the commercial ones end up being, you know, around $20 or so a blank. There are some on Etsy that are cheaper, but I don't know, I can't vouch for the ease of unwinding any of them. So that is why I didn't recommend any specific Etsy shops. Although if you have an Etsy shop and you sell undyed blanks and you want to send me one to unravel, I would be happy to do some product placement slash testing. Okay. Actually, I think I'm just about in a good spot to try to untwist a little bit again. So when I'm going to and untwisting, I'm wrapping the unraveled yarn around, and then that's when I'm clipping. which I think is allowing us to, there we go, to untwist without unraveling more. Oh dear. Hopefully this is still working. It's saying that my settings are bad, but I can't even see the stream anymore, so I don't know. I mean, I can see that it's still live, but I can't see if it like times out in like the thinking circle of doom, since I have paused the playback to see. But at least, like, hey, for all the things being equal, my colors are looking pretty good today, so I'm happy about that. I'm still on. Thank you. Yeah, it just has bad, oh good. It just says bad video settings at the top of the YouTube page for me. And so I'm like, eek, I don't love that. Okay. But at least the unraveling of the blanket itself, winding onto the nitty knotty is not the easiest, but the unraveling of the blanket itself is going really, really well. So I'm not seeing a lot of hiccups over there. So that is good. But you know how fun it is for me to get a true black, you guys? I'm so glad you guys were able to join for this. And okay, so now we're hitting the green. And, it's looking pretty good. Like, these might not be as perfect in terms of identical as a commercial blank, but overall, this feels like, if you make socks out of these yarns, they are going to look matched. So that is good. That is nice and good. Where is unraveling from over there? Now we got our green coming. Yeah, so I said at the beginning, I dyed this yarn with acid dyes. And the one thing that's kind of bumming me out is because the week I set aside for the stock blank special, the hand painting of this blank is going to come out before the first time I ever did hand painting with the jacquard acid dyes. And so that just sort of irritates me a tiny bit because I like to try to keep things in order as much as possible. But, it's a different type of video, so it's not a huge, huge deal. But especially when something's a first, I like to try to keep it honest. But I'm enjoying using acid dyes a lot. They work very, very similarly to food coloring. And it's just the one thing that's different for me is I have a good feel when it comes to food coloring, oh, this is how much of this color I want, and this is how much of that color, or this color is a lot more potent than this one. And I do not have the feel with that for the acid dyes yet. So I'm still learning. And I could look up recipes when it comes to mixing colors and stuff. I just haven't yet. I've been trying to wing it. Hi, welcome. Yeah, so, it's all like a big learning. It's all a huge learning experience. So, but it's really fun. And ultimately, I really enjoy it. All right. So using the clip isn't so bad. And when I was doing the I cord, so I cranked I used 460 some yards of yarn to make this I cord. And but it was a crank I cord thing, but having to stop that because I was winding the I cord into a ball, and then I had to figure out how to clip it so I could unwind it without losing the tension on the I cord maker, because dropping stitches there was so hard to get back on the machine. Oh, no worries for being late. Oh, I missed the full color transition, but I'm impressed. I thought that there were going to be a lot more unevenness between the colors as I was doing this. I mean, I expected it to be identical-ish, certainly, but I was concerned that the tension from one strand, that there would be, well, we'll see when I weigh the two skeins of yarn at the end, how close they are, but I was concerned that, you know, maybe one of them would be kind of going into the machine faster than the other. So I am pretty happy with this, even though I am consistently having one of them be longer than the other. No, that did not help. That was the opposite of helping. Okay, so here is a spot where we see a little bit of a difference. So we've got some yellow on one before the other. Again, it's hard to know if I'm being even when I'm wrapping around, but as we're going here, this is the first time with this yellow that I noticed, okay, I'm seeing like the yellow come on to the nitty naughty on one side way faster than the other. And are the two strands, oh no, my two strands are not even together as I'm unraveling. So let me, that could be part of the reason why it's not looking the same as I'm pulling it off, because they weren't even together. Ah! But pretty close still. Yeah, I'm struggling a little more today. But again, you know, when it comes to deciding, and, you know, I'm not pushing the commercial blanks just because, like, you know, any commission. I try to make things as easy and real as possible for all of you. But for all I like winding my own stuff, you know, this is taking a bit longer than unwinding the commercial blanks, where I think I would have been able to completely unwind one by now. So, I'm glad that we have like a decent system for this though. I just can't imagine like unraveling like a shop's worth. If I was doing like a dozen blanks or something, this might, you know, it's like the I cord that I wound. That took me hours and hours. So it's something that, you know, could be fun to do like once if you want to try testing it out, but probably the mailman again. But it's, oops, what is going on here? Okay, there we, nope. Oh, it looks like we might, we had another troubled area down there where I think that there had been some drop stitches, but I think that I'll be able to get past that okay. Yeah, I think that like there's a lot of things that I'm willing to do. It's like, okay, I can do that once and that won't drive me nuts or anything. But sometimes, like, you know, is it worth, you know, would I, to try to like sell self-striping yarn, make a bunch of I-cords and put it in a shop? No. But for myself, out of curiosity, then yeah. So unfortunately, okay, one strand is, unfortunately, the I-cord maker that I have cannot take fingering weight. Oh, come on, Rebecca. No, it only takes fingering weight and lighter. You can't do worsted weight. So I wanted to start doing worsted weight on it. But, all right, so I might officially have one more wrap on one of these than the other, but the tension on them could definitely be different. You're going to try crocheting a two-stranded blank too? Yeah, I'm going to try. That's what I was going to try last night when Ryder broke my ball winder. And So I was like, oh dear. Okay, I guess, yeah, I guess that's not going to happen right now. So I ordered a new one, and I did super glue the old one back together. So I might try that out and see how well the super glued one can do, if I can make a center pull ball. But again, like, I'm tempted actually from now on to really do 2 balls of whatever first and then wind it, because this is, you know, a little bit of a pain. I don't crochet that fast, but faster than knitting. Yeah, well, I think my plan is, and to do it with worsted as well. I'm curious about what kind of, so with like knit blanks, you end up getting, you know, some speckling and stuff. But I'm curious that with what of the other or something. I think so. Okay, I think I'm even again. But we can see here that even with evenness and unevenness aside, we have some sections that are substantially, like, I'm not 100% identical here. So I think I will need to call this yarn an identical-ish one. I still think that you could get 2 pretty identical looking socks. Okay, Rebecca. Which one? It's funny how they, maybe because, you know, these aren't equal in terms of, like, one of them's a little ahead of the other, and that's why I keep getting ahead on one versus the other as I am trying to unravel it. Oh no, it went offline. Oh good, back. Yeah. Sorry guys, at least I'm not getting the error, like, bad stream health anymore. We're definitely over halfway through this, unraveling this though. Although for 48 minutes, oh gosh. You guys are patient. But, all right, we're approaching the orange. But I know that there can be a lot of variability in the way that I am wrapping this onto the Nitty Knotty. The other thing that's a bit harder, and this is not that big a deal in the grand scheme of things, when I'm winding stuff onto the Nitty Knotty, I kind of like to start at the center and go out further and further out, so that way I can see the gradient nicely on the, while it's on the Nitty Knotty. And since, you know, these are twisted around each other, I'm struggling with that more. But yeah, they're still, they're off from one another. Yeah, because if I am where they're unraveled, they look very, very similar. You know, coming off where the flecks of color and stuff are. But where we are, you know, going on to the Nitty Knotty is a bit of a different story. So that, how much further is this one ahead? Can I, yeah, I don't think even doing that helps anything. Okay, I think I need to, oh, but I do need to untwist again. I keep waiting for one to be like a full, because I think I did that at one point on one side, but it didn't quite help. But yeah, I know that I did that once on purpose. I know that I wrapped around one side and not the other at least once, but I think that in addition to that, since there were some mistakes that I was aware of in here, I know that from the knitting, I think that there could have been, like, legit one side is going to be longer than the other. But we'll see how close that is. There's a lot of variables going on in here. Oh. But yeah, so But the fact that one of them is a little longer than the other, that's also contributing to some of the difficulties I am having right now. So it's just hard to like pull one side tighter than the other. Oh, I'm not gonna. Yeah, I think that I can just keep like my hands like further apart and a bit closer with some of the other blanks, so I have an easier time getting my gradients to show nice and pretty. But it's not quite going as well for me today. Aha! I think that like the unraveling of the blank down there is kind of taking care of some of these issues for me, because I think that it's like pulling one side faster than the other. Okay, let's untwist you again. It's getting a little easier to untwist it with it getting so nice, excuse me, nice and short. Tension one side with my toes. Yeah, I don't really want to show you guys my toes today. Otherwise, I probably would. Yeah, I think that when I was doing the knitting the double-stranded blank that I just in the video that I released last night, in that one, like I was watching really, really closely the tension as the yarns were going in, and I did not pay quite as close attention with these ones. So that is something to be aware of. But yeah, and so as we're seeing the colors come off, I think that I evened out my problems on the blank itself, because I don't think that I'm not unraveling from the same place simultaneously. So it's kind of weird that like one strand is like going ahead on the round faster than the other. But I'm glad at least this is unraveling well. I did one, I think the very first palette fingering weight one that I did, I think I may have started unraveling from the wrong end, or there were some mistakes that I fixed that I just had a lot of issues getting that unwound. So, ooh, actually, I wonder if, okay, here's my new idea. You put the clamp on the blank, sort of stand up. Nope, but I'm not unraveling anymore. Spoke too soon. Okay, guys, what's going on in here? The like one going ahead of the other caught up with me. But hopefully I'll be able to get through this. Yeah, so when I'm unwinding sock blanks after it's done, because you can see how these crimps can get a little tangled, I do like to go and wet the skeins so that way help relax the crimps from unraveling, because otherwise if I was to just take these off the Niddy Noddy right now, they might get a little tangled. And so that would be sad, because all things being equal, we have not had too many full-on horrible tangles, just twists that we've had to deal with. But actually having this weight, if I can clip it again, having a weight on the blank might actually sort of help a bit when it comes to the untwisting. Not that it's untwisting itself. Oh dear, I missed the side. At least I haven't crossed. That would be a nightmare to I mean, right now I'm missing a little bit, but if I were to cross the two sides, that would be a bummer. Oh, I know why it's not untwisting itself. I was like, huh, I have the weight on it. Why am I not untwisting? It's because it's unraveling from the weight. But, okay, so now it'll probably untwist. Like a very slow dance kind of way. Come on. Oh no, don't add some more twist. That would not be happy. Maybe I don't even need the clip though. Have some gravity. Aha! Okay, our blank is short enough now that I can kind of just let it hang and it is sort of untwisting itself. I know that I am no longer in frame, but I think that the nitty knotty is a little bit. Oh, don't let me speak too soon. Oh, that. Danger, danger, danger. Okay, there we go. Okay. So why are we not unraveling, dude? Ah, because you're getting all twisty with yourself. But, you know, you might not see the green and the blue stripes in here, but this yarn is really, really cool, even with those colors hidden more towards the center. Let's see if... I don't think that actually helped anything. I keep trying to think like, oh, can I like do a whole extra side around one? Well, maybe if I pull it up, I can. Let's see. What side is my extra long one? This one. And the problem is, I don't think that it's quite like 4 feet off. It's like less than that. So, oh no! Oh wait, no. Okay, I sat down and I saw like the video, the stream frozen. And I was like, oh no, and I was gonna go type I'm still here. But I forgot that I paused. Oh dear. Oh dear. I wish that there was a way I could wrap it halfway around a side. But I guess we're coming into purple on both. It's going to be hard to tell how close these two skeins are to each other until I start knitting. Because clearly, you know, what's coming off the blank matches each other. But, you know, who knows where we are with the nitty knotty. Okay. I do like the black with the rainbow. Using blacks are so much, black dyes are so fun. And so far, it's hard to say if any of the Jacquard acid dyes that I have are breaking. If I've observed any, it's been very, very subtle and very minimal. So nothing super extreme. Clippy clip. Let's untwist. Oh dear. Maybe not. Clip fell off and we unraveled a bunch. So where we are right now is this last like medium semi-striped region. Having another Monday, yeah, that looks really frustrating. For my yarn project for the day, you're making t-shirt yarn. Ooh, that sounds fun. Yeah, I mean, so it's frustrating, but it's manageable. I think the more frustrating part is I'm like, ooh, I'm not doing like fun banter because I'm live. So that's sort of like an added bit of stress over here. But it's manageable. Like, I think that doing this for a project for myself is something that I wouldn't mind horribly. I think that, you know, this isn't something that I would necessarily offer. Like, I think I might stick to homemade single strand blanks and then do commercial double stranded ones. Because I don't mind like winding stuff for myself very much. But hey, you guys, all of a sudden, did you see? We're like matched up again. I don't know how that happened, but not only are things like even, but the colors are matched. I don't know what happened. I can't really explain it, but it's kind of cool. There might be some differences in the middle, but it looks like the beginning and the end might be nice and similar. So, interesting. I'm just going to go with it. I'm not going to question it too much. So what? I think that, I mean, I'm close to the end. So I think that it takes like less than half an hour for me to unwind one of the Stroll commercial blanks, and this one is taking me over an hour. So that's something that you might want to consider as you're doing this on your own. But when they're equal with each other, like it is right now, let's see if I can have the blank over there. This is way easier than when one side was longer than the other. That was harder and much more frustrating. Yarn Fairies decided you needed a break. Yes. Let's not speak too soon. Yarn Fairies. Okay. But now I don't need to even really wrap the yarn around. I can just sort of clip it on there, and there we go. It's matching it nice. Go, 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 spin, spin, spin. Yay. But I do ultimately like my newer Singer knitting machine because I can use it while I am, say, watching TV or something without irritating anyone else in the room. But oh, so matched and pretty again. You guys, it's awesome. I still you know, I haven't decided if these ones are going to be kept for me or if I might you know, sell or give this one away or something at some point. So I would still, if I was going to sell it, I would call it identical-ish. But I'm digging that it's nice and matched up here as we're approaching the end. Oh. No, the real thing that's the case of the Mondays are that on Saturday, it was supposed to be the 2-year-old's birthday party. Well, we had a birthday party, but the 2-year-old didn't go because he got a fever. Like in the, you know, we noticed that he was burning up right before nap. So like it's hours before his birthday party. And we're like, I guess he needs to stay home. So poor guy missed, not that he knows the difference because he's 2, but he missed his own birthday. And then our eldest just came down with a fever last night. So yeah, that's hard. But thankfully, I think that they're both sleeping, or at least the 4-year-old is reading happily. So, but oh, man, see this end, the end is much, much easier. So I did, even though I cautioned against it, I did do one double-stranded blank. Yeah, this is matched really nicely. I did do one double-stranded blank on with worsted weight yarn on the knitting machine. And oh, I almost thought that I was going to break the gears. I almost stopped in the middle because I was so convinced that it was going to break. But, you know, so I don't recommend doing that. I think that that's like the machine just can't handle maybe too thick of a yarn. I don't remember when I did one bulky blank in the past how much trouble I had with that. But yeah, so the real question with these yarns now is, are they the same weight? Like, you know, do we think that they have the same yardage? I'm not going to take them off the Nitty Knotty now because I want to wash, or I want to just soak it and then let it dry. But, you know, I think that it's, you know, they're going to be pretty close to the same weight. And my scale goes to the, you know, the nearest 1/10 of a gram. But, so this isn't a true, you know, a lot of times I try to show what my gradient looks like. And then, you know, if you see on the inside, you see some of the, like the blue, green, purple stripes. Actually, that's kind of pretty. Seeing the stripes on the inside and then the smaller stripes on the outside of the blank. But I think that, you know, this would work great for making something, a matched set of something, which, you know, you had a lot of mistakes. So there's a lot of places where it could go off. But overall, I mean, I don't think that there's any way I could take 2 separate sock blanks or something and dye them, you know, matching in this kind of way. So, you know, even though the identicalness might only be over, I don't know, 90, 95 or so % of the yarn, it's pretty darn close. And you're going to have socks that, or mittens or something that look really, really great together. Yeah, I hope that they get better too. Thankfully, like, they're running around happy playing, so that's very good. But I'm gonna try to give another peekaboo so you can see some of the stripes. See, ideally I would have had it on here so that way you could see the stripes and then the like other sections, but that just was not in the cards. But anyway, so I mentioned at the beginning that we have a sock, I'm going to do a dye along the week of February 26th. The week of February 26th, I am going to do a, you know, sock blank special 2. And the added component is that I'm trying to encourage you guys to dye along with me. And I've announced this, you know, pretty far in advance to give you plenty of time to make your own blanks, find your reclaimed sweaters or socks that you want to unravel, find, I don't know what that crash was. You can, you know, purchase commercially wound sock blanks. I don't think I have a link to, I have an affiliate link to KnitPicks in the description. And if you just search for sock blank, you'll find theirs. You can buy from them individual blanks and also a discounted 20-pack of blanks. But, you know, you could crochet your own blanks. We're going to look at a lot of different techniques over the week, and I will release a schedule closer to that. But right now, and I will actually drop this in the comments, I did write a blog post that talks a little bit about where you can buy sock blanks, some materials for making your own, and then also, and so this is the link that I just dropped in the comments, but also, you know, maybe what equipment, if you haven't tried dyeing yarn at home before, what equipment do you need to have on hand? You know, in terms of pots, like what heat sources, what do I use to apply the dye to the yarn? And so I have a lot of suggestions in that post. But ultimately, you know, I think that you can choose to do the same technique along with me, or you can choose to just kind of go for it on your own. And I think that, you know, on the ChemKnits Facebook page, I'll start a thread so people can share their own blanks that they've dyed. And I think that, you know, maybe we'll do like a hashtag or something for Instagram and whatnot, and we can just have some fun dyeing these blanks and creating these asymmetric colorways, because I mean, it's just a lot of fun, whether you're doing, oh no, oh dear, oh dear. Okay, so this is why I wet the skeins to set the twist. Thankfully, I did tie off one side before I totally messed this up. That is funny. That is really, really funny. So it's not as bad of a mess as it could have been. Okay. As I was saying, here I did, try to get 2 identical 50-gram skeins of yarn. But you can dye, just a single knit blank and get some really, really cool effects and then turn it into, something else. Like one idea that I want to do is I thought it'd be really fun to write, a letter or a poem or song lyrics on a blank and then unravel it and either have it yourself or give it to someone. But that these words were written on the yarn. And even though no one else can read it, it's kind of like a hidden message that no one could ever really decipher, but it's something is there. And I think that that's a way to just make something that you're knitting or crocheting a little more special and a little more personalized. Even, a step beyond just the fact that you dyed it yourself. Crayola crayon and ramen noodles. Ooh, I like that description. I know typing again. I think that, okay, I'm back. I'm so sorry there have been so many issues, but you will be able to, with no interruptions, watch the dyeing and, conclusions and thoughts of this yarn. And I think I will maybe try another method of doing a double-stranded blank. So that way we can see if you start with 2 separate balls of yarn, if you get these twists around each other or if it ends up working a little better. But having some kind of clip on hand to unravel it isn't so bad. I think I'm just twice as fast unraveling the KnitPicks commercial blank as I was doing this one that I made myself. So that's just something to keep in mind as you gather materials. But I do have in this video description, I have my KnitPicks affiliate link to I believe I do at least. Yeah, to the Stroll figurine weight yarn that I used for this. I believe that that's currently on back order, but the sock blanks aren't on back order, and those are made with Stroll. I did make, in the video I shared last night, a double-stranded blank out of Imagination Yarn, and I think if you want something that's similar to Stroll, the Felici yarn has a similar fiber content, and I think that the ply might be a little different. But in terms of a superwash merino nylon blend, that one is a pretty close match, at least on the KnitPicks website. And yeah, so start thinking about what you might want to dye along. If you have any requests for different ways to dye sock blanks that maybe I can work into the sock blank special week, I'll try to have at least one video every day and many live streams. Children being able to attend school, pending, but the live streams I'm planning to do at many different times of day, so that way as many people as possible can tune in live and interact with me. And I think that, okay, so I've reconnected after disconnecting again. So what I was starting to say is I have not yet done a flat, while spinning or twisting back and forth. I haven't done a flat one. I've only done in the round just because, you can just kind of semi-mindlessly keep going. Have you tried dyeing a crocheted blank? Not yet. So when my ball winder broke, I was about to create a center pull ball to crochet a blank. I was going to use worsted weight yarn, and so held double, it would only be about 100 yards that I was going to have to crochet, and I was going to use a big hook and do double crochet. And that's still my plan. So at some point there will be a crocheted blank, but I am waiting for my new ball winder to arrive. I did super glue the other one together, so we'll see if I can get that to work. I might try that shortly if the boys continue napping. Have you considered dyeing a blank and then knitting with it to show a finished product? I would love to do that. I have recently, especially as my filming of videos has increased, I've had less time for knitting. And I do have in my knitting queue, I am a year behind with one thing that I need to get out to someone. And so I have some other knitting deadlines that are slightly unrelated from these. But at some point, I think with the Imagination blank, I am thinking about using that for something for myself, because I have not knit something for myself in a while. And I think that I have a lot of projects in my queue for myself, but I always kind of push them aside because there's another new baby or something. So yeah, but I would love to do that. Now I want to do a crochet blank using a series of stitches. Ooh, that would be really, really cool. I could hand wind a center pull ball. I don't think I'd be able to do that very well. See, if I was doing almost anything else, I could just hand wind the ball and move on. But I was like, no, I wanted the center pull ball to crochet my blank. Even though I'd probably have some of these twist issues. You know, again, this was not, it was more of a pain to unwind than the commercial blanks, but it was still doable. So if you're not trying to mass produce hand-dyed blanks, then, you know, and you just want to do a couple for yourself, buying a knitting machine and making your own blanks is probably more cost effective. In terms of time efficiency, you know, buy your own blank, buy the blanks. But if they don't, you know, if you want a different fiber content, then that's the other reason. If you're not worried about the cost, but you want, say, you know, something with alpaca or something even with acrylic as a blank, you're not, most commercial blanks are superwash wool and nylon blends, and you don't find a lot of variation from that. So, you know, if you want to use a special yarn, then that's another reason beyond just cost saving to go and get some kind of knitting machine. So, yeah. But, oh, and so sales-wise, KnitPicks is, all of their books are 40% off right now. When I ordered my new ball winder, I also picked up a book for doing, like, I forget the title. I'll share it at some point. But it's a book for, you know, looking at color and how to spin with color and stuff. And then I don't remember what else I got. But yeah, but books are 40% off. And their rainbow wooden needles are 25% off right now, which is awesome. I love my interchangeable set, and the wooden needles I think are just like a dream to knit with. So if you have been eyeing any of their knitting needle sets, now's a good time to go and check it out. Ooh, fun. Yeah, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate all your support and you guys sticking in there with the stream going in and out. I know I didn't even notice all the times it cut in and out, and so I'm sorry for those ones that I missed and that maybe you missed some of what I was saying. But, you know, I am super, super, super happy with this yarn, and yeah, I can't wait for you guys to see more of the video. But I think ultimately you can get really, really similar yarns, even with mistakes in the middle of your homemade blanks. So yeah, I think that it was nice to show the real struggles and show the realness of what goes on behind the scenes sometimes, because I normally don't show all the unwinding of stuff on a video because, you know, this took me like an hour. So, but I like having some people to hang out with as I'm doing this and troubleshooting and not swearing. But yeah, so, oh, you guys are sweet. Thank you so much. Yeah, but yeah, so check out the ChemKnits link. I put it in and I'll put it in the video comments if you're catching this on the replay. But catch out the ChemKnits link for some details on the sock blank special. Maybe pick up some bare yarn or a sock blank or two from KnitPicks or one of the other sources that I recommended. And I really, really look forward to seeing what you all come up with for your own sock blanks. So thank you so much for joining me today. I will talk to you guys soon. Bye! And now trying to find the stop streaming button. See, reality all the way through.